There are 651 GameCube games, and I'm trying to beat them all while at the mercy of this horrendous wheel. Welcome to Beating the GameCube. Game number 24 is Madden NFL 2002. Released in 2001, it was both developed and published by Electronic Arts. It finally happened, our first ever American football game. The GameCube has a ton of these, so I am surprised it took this long. I won't lie, I was kind of dreading it. I went in with absolutely zero knowledge on how hand egg is played, and that caused a few issues, but did it stay that way? Let's find out. So a very common and valid question for a game like this is, how do you beat it? I decided that winning the Super Bowl is the obvious choice. There is frankly an astounding amount of customization on offer here. The modular nature of the settings is really cool, and it gives you a commendable amount of freedom on how you'd like to play the game. I will typically choose the default difficulty in this challenge, but I started out with rookie so I could actually learn the sport. I also naively thought that short quarters would mean I would beat the game faster, so I locked in just 1 minute quarters. There is even an easy play option which practically makes the game play itself, but that was a step too far for me. Season mode involves qualifying for and winning the Super Bowl, so that's what I selected. Chat had a lot of football fans present trying to convince me to play as their favorite team, but I decided to start out with the Dolphins as it was the only team I knew of. Each week has a number of games occurring and you have multiple ways to interact with them. You can speculate any game, have the computer simulate matches, or play as either team. This is even true for your own games. You can even play as your opponent and deliberately throw, but that would be lame, so we didn't do that. My first ever game was against the Titans, and they always start out with a lengthy cutscene introducing the players and hyping up the match. There's also commentary from Pat Summerall and Mr. John Madden himself. These have solid variety, and I think the sound design is a strong feature throughout. I won the coin toss, and not knowing what any of the jargon meant, I was instructed by chat to choose to receive while I learned the ropes. It was then time for me to learn how the hell do you play this thing. This was honestly one of the funniest things I've ever streamed. I had zero clue what I was doing, and chat was coaching me live. We'll highlight a few bits for you here. So this is them going for their field goal, I guess. Okay. Ah, I'm playing the game! Oh! So now is the line moving up to where that guy got tackled, right?
Smith running to the
That was a run? I know what that means. Again, I looked at the rules on Wikipedia. I was like, what the hell is this?
That's their final timeout.
It better stats cheating! So they are up some amount of points, however this game works. I entered the final quarter down 3 points and was just about getting used to the flow of the game. But 1 minute quarters was not the move. They are just too short, and not only did they not give me enough time to actually learn the game, but they also made the more strategic elements of the sport totally absent. I did the wise thing and doubled each quarter to 2 minutes and then switched the Cardinals for the very high IQ reason of I think their logo's cute. My first game was against the Washington Redskins and I still had the backing of my league of coaches in chat. Let's do this. The Redskins won the toss and chose to receive. In an epic blunder, I managed to give the opponents 2 points by causing a penalty. Whoops. I didn't manage to score, but I also was getting consistently better on defense, and I managed to prevent them from scoring as the first quarter ended. I also understood my plays now, so I pushed on the offense. Chat even taught me how to call a timeout and the importance of playing the clock. I was honestly having a great time, and football is a much more interesting sport than I've ever given it credit for. The strategy is really cool. Despite my best efforts, they scored a field goal and I just wasn't able to recover. We're getting better though. I honestly think for 30 minutes in and how totally new I was schmoovin'. We decided to start over one last time and chat had the epic suggestion of play as the Baltimore Ravens. They were the strongest team that year and had a truly monstrous defense. The plan was that the comms would help buffer me on the defense so I could keep working on my game knowledge and offense. We also now had Jonathan Ogden as left tackle and Ray Lewis as middle linebacker, and they each had a 99-point rating, making them 2 of the strongest players in this game. But it wasn't just having a swish new team that made the difference. With my army of dads behind me, I was starting to learn. Oh, so a touchdown. So they only go for the field goal as a last resort because the touchdown's worth so much more. I gotcha. Field goal block. So they're going for the field goal now as a last resort. So that's a field goal. Okay. So now I'm receiving, right? They didn't get a touchdown and I'm receiving. Okay. Oh! Okay, I took it back.
They're blitzing. They're back.
Come on, go. Yeah. Come on, go.
With the reception.
Okay, nearly a touchdown.
Back to throw. Throws it out over the
Yeah. Okay, we're good. So I can get a field goal as well.
It's up. And the extra point.
He's just too good. I did a thing. The Bears weren't going down without a fight, and they managed to claw back, 3 points at the end of the second quarter. But now I finally understood the assignment, and between another field goal and a clinic on the defense from both the comms and myself, I managed to prevent the Bears from scoring again as I played the clock. I learned the importance of taking a knee to close out the game, and for the first time in over an hour of learning, we won! This was so much fun, man. Being taught by chat, actually learning and getting better, and then having them say, I raised that boy when I won, was amazing. The VODs for every playthrough are in the spreadsheet available in the description, and this was a really fun one, so if you want to see that, that is down there. So, now I actually understood the game, had a cracked team, and I was starting to win. It was time to grind my way to the Super Bowl. That's 15 games, and I want these sports videos to be shorter, so for my journey through the weeks, I think we need a montage. Feels good, man. I was flying at this point, and those couple of hours zoomed by. Also, shout out to Shannon Sharp, what a beast of a player. So many of my best plays were carried by that man. Now, because it's a pretty cumbersome number of games to reach the playoffs, and I was absolutely smoking the competition at this point, I decided to just simulate the remaining division matches until we reached it. My governing principle for this challenge is to play the games the same way I would have as a child. I won a good 6 matches fair and square, so the game knew I was a force to be reckoned with. We wound up at 13 wins and 3 losses, which gave me number 2 seed and a bye in the first round. Sweet. By that point, I had streamed for 10 hours that day, and I was cooked, so we decided to be cute and come back for a proper Super Bowl Sunday stream. So that's where we picked this back up. And here we are, it's the playoffs. The Rams beat me out for number 1 seed with a whopping 14-2 score, so it seemed pretty obvious to me that that would be who I'd be playing against in the Super Bowl. First up though was the LA Chargers. I upped the quarters to 3 minutes for these games, and I was excited to put all that I'd learned to the test. Unfortunately, this is where I felt the limits of the comms being on rookie. This was a slaughter. With my now solid game knowledge, improved skills, longer quarters, and being fresh to stream that day, it was pure domination. I absolutely stand by starting out on rookie, as I was a total noob for this game, but for the remaining Maddens, I think I'll go straight to the playoffs with tournament mode and will up the difficulty. But yeah, if this were a Little League game, somebody would have called it. My defense was just an impenetrable wall, and I was scoring left, right, and center. At this point, I was ignoring Madden's suggestions, as I was just usually finding my own plays to be better. This was the most overwhelming win that I'd earned to date, and I was shocked after asking chat to learn that IRL games can even have worse score disparities than this. That seems crazy to me, man. Also, just before I forget to mention, the save system for this game sucks. There is no autosave, and it's really slow and clunky to do it manually. You also need to name each save, and they are all unique, meaning it can get very confusing when you have like 30 saves piling up on you. I will say though, for a sports game, I think this is a good package overall. I really rate the sound design, the commentary is varied and immersive, the sound of a tackle is meaty, and the crowd going nuts when you score is pretty fun too. Graphically, I think it's kind of weak. After playing Star Fox last week, which is just stunning, I certainly was underwhelmed, but it does what it needs to do. Information is conveyed clearly, and the choppy-looking crowd animation is kind of charming in its own way. The Rams beat the Vikings, the Broncos beat the Colts, and the Eagles beat the Lions. That meant it would be me playing the Broncos and the Eagles against the Rams. The Broncos definitely put up a way better fight than the Chargers, and I was glad to have more to do. This was also the first time I experienced a game where the weather and atmosphere was different, so that was a nice bonus. I still had my absolute defense in place though, meaning the Broncos just could not score, but they did a far more admirable job of shutting me down, meaning I couldn't just run up the score with a myriad of touchdowns. Nonetheless, within a quick 20 minutes, I locked in the dub at 13-0, and that secured my place in the Super Bowl. It is time. As expected, my final opponents were the Rams. The real-life Super Bowl of this year was between the Patriots and the Rams, so it seemed only fitting that I'd face one of them. But without further ado, let's see how the match unfolded. Kurt Warner makes a sneaky throw to Isaac Bruce, who makes a stunning catch, but despite gaining ground, they just cannot capitalize as the Ravens' crushing defense bears down on them. This forces an early punt, allowing Ray Lewis to make huge gains. The Rams have a mighty defense of their own though, making it hard for Gerbach to gain any momentum. This is a back and forth game. Neither team is willing to give the other an inch. At the end of the first quarter, it's 0-0. Even in the second quarter, the Rams just cannot find any room to progress down the field, forcing another punt and putting the Ravens in the position to make a play. Gerbach makes a stunning pass to Ismail. This is the furthest any team has made it so far. Gerbach makes another bold pass to Stockley, priming the Ravens to score, and then Ismail makes one last stunning catch. Touchdown! I had some fun doing that bit. And that was the bulk of the action in this 30-minute game. Both teams had incredible defensive lineups, just making it so difficult to make any real plays. I did manage to sneak in one more field goal, putting me up by 10 points, but besides that, I just played the clock, locked them down, and I secured the all-important dub. And with that, my friends, I had won the Super Bowl and beaten this game. I was really happy with this playthrough. In the space of 5 hours, I went from being totally lost to confidently playing without any guidance from chat. I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone that was there live for making this so special. This was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, as now that I know the rules, we won't be able to enjoy that exact same journey again. And that concludes Madden NFL 2002. Like with many of these games, I was surprised by how much fun I had. Streaming is always a plus, and I get really overly invested, so we had some fun and memorable moments. It took me 5 hours and 2 minutes to beat, with a fair chunk of that time being learning the rules and controls. I gave this game a 4 for difficulty. I was by no means on the hardest difficulty, and I picked the strongest team of the year, but I really appreciate the modular nature of the settings because you have a ton of control over how tough you'd like your experience to be. Enjoyment scored a surprising 6. I had a legitimately fun time playing this, and having my community teach me the rules as we went made this one of the funniest experiences I've had in 3 years of streaming. If you made it to the end, then please enjoy a sneak peek at what I'll be playing next time. As per the challenge format, Game 25 was a community vote based on 3 games selected by chatters during my streams. In a stunning upset, the Beybladers lost out a second time, and Super Monkey Ball took home the dub. So we'll be back with that next week, and I must just say, I knew this game was going to be hard, but holy, I was unprepared. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.